It's me, it's Queen Osetta Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. So, a woman asked me in the comment section, what's the deal with Aquarius and the honeymoon phase? She's apparently friends or family with an Aquarius, and every time this Aquarius meets another man, the girl is head over heels in love. And then she's not. Then she meets a new person and she's head over heels again, and then not. And she's like, what is the deal with that? That is very common for certain Aquarius. I'm telling you right now, a lot of Aquarius are very idealistic. A lot of us. Aquarius are always searching for meaning in life, meaning with relationships, meaning with our work. We have to do things that mean something and be in things that mean something. We don't want to do things just for the sake of doing them. To us, that's a waste of time. So even with our lovers, we're looking for meaning. We're looking for a sign. We're looking for a twin flame. We're looking for a soulmate. Aquarius are always looking for this deep experience. And it's just not always the case. And then we've realized that because we're really smart. So we realized that pretty fast, and then we don't want to do it no more. We meet somebody, we're head over heels in love with them, and then not. What happens is that I'm gonna give you an example. I met this woman. This was the last woman I dated, the last person I dated. I ain't date nobody else's did. She was a Cancer. And I was like, I need some air after this one. So I met this woman. And when I first met her, I saw everything that was good about her. Her heart, her energy, her positivity, everything that was good about her. Because, of course, she came forward with her representative. Now, people around her already knew she wasn't all that cool because they were warning me low key. Like one day she had put her sister on the phone. And her sister was like, "You like her?" And she said it just like that. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, she's so sweet." Da, 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 da. And her sister was like, "Okay." And I knew when her sister said that it was more to it than I saw. But I let it go. I let it slide, because I was at peace. I was happy with her. So I let that part go. So I'm getting to know her. I'm so into her. I love talking to her. I want to talk to her all the time. Whenever she calls, I drop whatever I'm doing to answer the phone. I'm just like honeymooned out, okay? By the third month, I had seen the other side of her, the belligerent drunk side of her that she hides from the rest of the world. I had seen it by then, and I'm like, I don't want to be in this. So by that third month, I was done. I was gone. The relationship was over. And people are like, "You didn't see that in the beginning?" No, she hid that shit in the beginning. In the beginning, all I saw was the parts I liked. I'm idealistic already. I'm already idealistic. So of course, I see she's presenting her good side, her sweet side. She's buying me presents. She sent me the nicest. I love tarot, as you all know. She sent me several of the most exquisite tarot decks that I freaking own. I still have them. She was really sweet in that kind of way. We had long talks, and I loved being around her until her alcoholism started to come up. Slowly but surely, I started to notice that she didn't drink every day, but when she did drink, she got out of control. So one day, this is how I found out how bad it really was. One day, I was sitting there in the morning time talking to her. Now, the night before that, she had called me, and we were talking, and she was drinking. And I said, "Well, when you get in the house, call me back." I was tired. And when she gets drunk, she's real belligerent. And I don't be in the mood for that crap. And she never got nasty with me or anything. She was just annoying when she was drunk. So she said, "Okay, I'm going to call you back." I fell asleep. I woke up in the morning and she was calling. So I answered the phone. And she's like, "You okay? What you doing?" Da, da, da. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm good, da, da, da." And then I hear her mother. Her mother was a real rough customer. I don't know where her son was, but she was a tough lady. And she's in the background, and she's like, And she's just yelling at her and riffing. And I'm like listening, right? And her mom was like, what the fuck was you doing last night? And she was like, nothing. She took the phone away. Nothing. What do you mean? And she was like, so and so said they saw you outside. Come to find out, she had passed out after talking to me the night before on the bench outside her apartment building. And I wouldn't have known this, but her mother was cussing her out about it. And she was like, you could have been killed. What was you doing out there? You got to stop this drinking. I mean, her mom went in. And I just sat there listening to the whole thing. And that's how I found out who she really was. So a lot of times mamas be telling. Listen to them mamas. Them mamas be telling. I'm telling you. Sometimes low key and sometimes on purpose. But them mothers be giving it up. So I was like, wow. So then me and her talked about it. She didn't lie about it. She admitted it. And she was like, I was just drunk and I passed out, but it was cool. I'm good. And I was like, you good? Come to find out she had gotten robbed while she was sleeping on the bench. You ain't good if you got robbed sleeping on the bench drunk. Come on now. So I got really turned off by all this kind of energy. And I just started getting more and more distant, So the honeymoon is over. After 3 months, the honeymoon is over. And I'm getting more and more distant. She doesn't understand why I'm acting like this. But I'm totally aware. So that is very Aquarius. I mean, that happens all the time. I cannot tell you. It's also common with gay women. I've seen a lot of people joke about how on the second date, lesbians bring a U-Haul. They tease us about that all the time because very often lesbian women do the same thing. The honeymoon phase, we fall in love with the honeymoon phase, and then we're living with the person, we're with the person like almost immediately, like a couple weeks or months later, and then things fall apart from there. In some cases they just keep on being together. So the thing about it is that honeymoon phase is not just specific to the Aquarius. A lot of other groups fall into the honeymoon phase, but the Aquarius is very prone to the honeymoon phase. But like I said, the Aquarius honeymoon phase doesn't last very long because as soon as we start seeing those ugly things that we can't deal with, all that other beauty and good stuff and the other things, a lot of times it cancels it out. Like in the case with her and the whole alcohol thing. That whole alcohol thing canceled out her sweetness. It canceled it out for me. It canceled out me wanting to talk to her and loving the conversations and loving being around her. It canceled all that out. And it just made me just be repulsed by her, basically. So then, after a while, Aquarius don't hold grudges. A year later, I start talking to her again. She calls me, she apologizes. I start talking to her again. Went through the honeymoon phase again and dropped her again. As a matter of fact, she dropped me that time because she got so upset with the fact that I just started not talking again. I clammed up again. And she was like, look, you obviously don't want to do this, so I'm out. And the bottom line was that the honeymoon phase was over. So it's not the fact that we expect a person to be perfect. It's just that we move too fast. So if you're an Aquarius or if you love an Aquarius, encourage them to go slow down. Let the honeymoon phase be wonderful. Have a great time. But don't make any permanent decisions in the honeymoon phase. Those are the mistakes I have made in the past. I've let people move in with me, in the honeymoon phase. All kind of things have happened in that honeymoon phase. And then I'm stuck like Chuck with the person, and hoping that they'll leave. So don't make permanent decisions in the honeymoon phase. You got to give it a while. You got to give it 9 months, 12 months to get to know the person before you make a decision. And I'm not saying that you're going to be able to shut off your feelings, but you have to use your head and your heart simultaneously. So if you meet somebody tomorrow, they shouldn't be moving in by next week. You shouldn't be in a serious relationship that fast. So that's the issue. Aquarius have to slow down. And like I said before, I am very, very guilty of this. I'm not guilty of it anymore because, like I said, that was the last person I dated, and I was like 38 or something like that, somewhere around there. So it's been a while. But the fact is that all before that, I've done that many times before. I've done that many times before. Got to know somebody and jump right in. And before I know it, I'm in too deep and now I got to get out of this. So don't make any permanent decisions with a person when you first meet them. When you're in the honeymoon phase, and the honeymoon phase, it lasts different amounts of time for different people. 3 months to a year generally. For me, it's 3 months. After 3 months, I've pretty much figured out everything I want to know about the person. And I can tell if we can move forward or not. But remember, there are a lot of things that people hide from you in the beginning. People don't always show you all their ugly in the beginning. Generally, they send the best version of themselves, the kindest version, the most compassionate version, the most generous version of themselves, the person that they usually wish they were all the time. But as you get to know them, you find out who's an addict. You find out who's drinking too much. You find out who's sleeping with somebody else. You find out who got kids that they're not claiming. Okay? You find out who one guy had a whole family in another country. You find out this kind of stuff by slowing down and not allowing that honeymoon phase to take your feelings, because that's what happens. That honeymoon phase make you think, oh, baby, this is the one. Somebody was telling me the other day that she had met her twin flame. Now, people always tell me this, and I just roll my eyes because most people don't even understand what the twin flame is, much less if they're with them or not. A lot of people use twin flame and life partner and soulmate interchangeably, and they're not the same thing. I did a video on it before if you want to go check it out. And a lot of people use these terms interchangeably, but a twin flame is a very serious relationship, and you only have one. You have many soulmates, but one twin flame, and you don't meet your twin flame until you're in your last incarnation. So this person said to me, oh, I thought this man was my twin flame. And I'm like, rolling my eyes. And then I said, well, how long did you know him? 8 days. 8 days. In 8 days, you had decided that he was your twin flame. That's called a honeymoon phase. The first 8 days, that's a honeymoon phase. Seriously. You have to, and I'm not saying that a twin flame isn't going to recognize their twin flame, because actually you would recognize them probably immediately. But still, you're in the honeymoon phase. So even if you think that's who this person is, I wouldn't even go there. I wouldn't even let my mind go down that process until I had been around them for 6 months. 9 months, a year. Give yourself a chance, because like with a twin flame, you have to see how y'all interact. Is it a good relationship? Twin flames are supposed to come into your life in your last incarnation, and it's supposed to be the best relationship you ever even had. So if they come into your life, you can't tell if it's your best relationship after 8 days. You can't tell for 3 months. You have to let it go on for a while to see how you get along. How does this person treat their mom? What kind of trips do they like to take? What happens when you guys argue? Do they get nasty? Do they put you down? That's not a twin flame. Are they abusive? Do they hit you? You have to give it time to see what characteristics they have. But like I said, we go into that honeymoon phase and we start jumping the gun. Oh, this is my twin flame. This is my soulmate. This is my everything. And I've done it too. That's how I know what you're doing. And I'm looking and shaking my head like... That's why I said so many of the comments on Ask An Aquarius trip me out, because I've done the same thing. I've done the same thing many times. So what I want you guys to do is, if you are an Aquarius, or if you are somebody who is prone to falling in love in the honeymoon phase, I want you to try to take things slowly. You're going to feel your feelings, but try to use your logic at the same time. Give it some time. Don't make any permanent decisions like moving in, buying things, having a baby. Don't do any of those things. A lot of times, if you take your time, you will see exactly who you're dealing with. The universe will reveal it. So give it time. Give it time before you make those permanent decisions with somebody that you don't even know. Okay? All right, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And please pass it on to somebody else who might need to realize that they're in the honeymoon phase or that they do this all the dang on time and they gotta stop. It's really not good for you. It's not good for you at all because you're just going through person to person to person to person. It's not good. Okay? And if you'd like to give a love donation, I'm going to leave underneath here my PayPal. If you would like to email me for a tarot reading, you can make an appointment through my email. You can also send me a question if you have a question and you want me to answer it for free on Ask an Aquarius. If it's a general question, I will answer it. I'll also leave my social media, my Facebook and my Instagram, in case you want to hit me up there. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and check me out next time for my next video. See you later.